My name's Dave Francis. I'm the senior clerk of the course for the Whittle 100 Motor Club. We've been running race meetings at Anglesey since 1992 now. Club racing, good quality, good club racing, and we've brought on a lot of riders through those years. We were given the opportunity to have the TTXGP boys and girls race with us this weekend, and we were delighted to bring them on board, and what they've done today during practice is quite amazing. Jenny Tinmouth, fastest in practice. Okay, Jenny's a very talented young lady, but she would have been finished 6th or 7th in qualifying for several of our other classes, averaging something like 65 miles an hour in pretty damp conditions. So it's all very impressive, and they were delighted that they're with us this weekend, and making a big addition, an interesting addition to our programme. I mean, obviously it's early stages. This is only the second race meeting on the mainland in the UK. To get 9 bikes out there going pretty well, I can only see it going from strength to strength nowadays, and it'll be interesting to see what develops later this year and into next year. Obviously, I've seen the results from the first round at Snetterton when Jim Lovell had a win, albeit narrow, from the Team Agri bikes. We've obviously got a soft spot for Jenny Tinmouth because she's a local lass to us, and I'd like to see Jenny win, but I've got to be unbiased.
Yeah, it was alright. It was a bit iffy when it started to drizzle a little bit because visor just went straight with water, and I couldn't tell if it was raining heavy or just a little bit, but I think it was just a little bit and it stayed dry, but it was a bit iffy there for the last maybe 10 minutes, I couldn't tell.
Like you stuck with Rob, your teammate, for most of the session, and then you dropped back.
Yeah.
Is that a tactical thing? Or?
Yeah, just try and get a little bit of a gap, because obviously we're so evenly matched because we're on the same bikes, so for me to actually try and up my pace, but it was better to try and get myself a bit of a gap and then go for it from there, but then obviously it started to drizzle a bit and then I couldn't tell if it was wet or dry, so I'm just looking forward to a race. It'll be good fun, hopefully.
It wasn't too bad. Obviously I haven't been to this track before, so more time on the bike here is obviously going to be better, so I can get quicker on the track. Yeah, their bikes are a lot quicker for this round, so it's harder to keep up because I haven't got the straight line speed on them, and their bikes are pretty quick round the corners. It wasn't too bad. One lap I had rain all over my visor, so I thought it was wet, but it turned out it was quite dry out there, so you could go quicker than you thought you could. Luckily the qualifying was dry, so they weren't too bad for that, but hopefully it stays dry tomorrow, otherwise I don't know what they're going to be like. Hopefully finish in the top 3, that's probably the main aim this weekend, but we're just trying to get the brakes a bit better because they're still quite bad, need to get better brakes, and then we can hopefully go quicker into the corners.
I think we can run with the leading pack, get out there, and then just, I'm not sure whether to push on and see if I can get a bit of a gap or whether to follow them and try and tag on and see who's got the batteries left at the end. I think it's going to be a long race, so it's just going to be about battery management and trying to keep up with the pack, I think, so should be a good race though. The guys have been changing some brushes and stuff like that, which they're still doing now, but basically we've made a couple of minor suspensions, but really minor, just a click here and a click there, but it's just track time. Having not been to Anglesey before, I just need to learn the circuit, and every time we go out and get a few more laps in, I mean, it pays dividends, so more track time means faster laps. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's mind-blowing really, with the corkscrew and all that in it. It's just stuff dreams are made of, so it's brilliant. Yeah, at the bank, and I came out the bank and there's a real fast right after it, and I tried to push it flat out in qualifying yesterday, and the front was starting to weave a bit and took, so that were it then. I rolled off and it was just starting to rain again though, so we called it a day then at that. Yeah, I've got a couple of lads from work, Sergeant Steve McCartney and Sergeant Tim Daisley, and one of the other trials lads who does trials in enduro called Tim Johnson. They've just come down just to do pit board and just have a look round really and get a feel for it. Oh, definitely, I mean, that's what we're here for, so I'm going to be pushing today. I'm feeling more and more confident with the bike. We're getting almost, I think that I've got a good feel for almost the limits of the bike now, so I'm hoping to be on the podium, definitely. I'm really going to push. I'm hoping that the Torque guys might have some problems with braking later on in the race, but we'll see. But they're quick, and Jenny and Rob have been really quick. Rob's had a couple of scary moments pushing hard, so we're just going to run steady again, steady and safe, but pick the pace up and see where we can go. I think we're good enough to get on the podium now, so it's time to get on with it now and get there.
Yep, bike performed really well. Done a few upgrades on the bike. Everything just went really well. Really, really good bikes. Yeah, I'm happy with the bike, to be honest. Basically, we have much better braking performance, and we replaced the wheels, we replaced the yokes, everything. All just been set up properly. Runs really well on the track. Yes, I'll try my best to push the bike, probably, hopefully, to the podium for this weekend. Hopefully, just the feel, just difference. Just there's more people interested in doing electric bikes now. I think people come over asking about the bikes and stuff. It's just a lot more fun.
Most of them, to be honest, I don't really understand because they happen inside the electronics in the controller, which Paul and Ian have been taking care of for me. But from what I know, I've now got a throttle response that works more similar to what a petrol bike would, which is more what I'm used to. So that's working really, really well for me. Also, I've been playing with the suspension, put a new front tyre in. Hopefully that will make a big difference for me. It's something that I'm used to riding on again, so I can try and push the front a bit harder, keep up with the guys at the front, get a bit more speed into the corners. We'll see how it goes, I guess. Basically, as I was coming around the first kink on the back straight, I caught something on track, it upset the bike. I had two choices: one, try and get it around the corner; two, to let it roll on. I decided to let it roll on. There's no point wrestling it back on the track and dropping it in practice. So, there was no pressure. I just ran wide, took a little detour, saw the coast. It's quite nice over there. Yeah, it's quite nice that both bikes are now quite competitive with each other. Since one of them's got twice as much battery pack as the other. So trying to weigh up the balance now between having the extra energy of having the batteries or going for the light option. That's making some quite interesting comparisons for us. Well, hopefully I'll be way out in front and I won't see Harry, but I'm sure that he'll be close behind me and we'll have a good race together. Yeah.
Qualifying went quite well. Basically, it was my first time out on the track. We only got one lap in practice yesterday, and I haven't been here before, so it was certainly interesting. Basically, just got out and tried to nail quick lap after quick lap and get as much circuit knowledge under my belt as I could. As it turned out, it went in my favour. I was 0.1 off pole, my teammate Jenny. So happy, but there's more work to be done. Certainly, I feel my times will definitely drop the more time I spend on the circuit. Yeah, small moment coming onto the back straight, if you can call it the back straight. Basically, just trying to get ever faster around that corner. It sounds like you can't take it flat out. But yeah, she did gain a little bit of time on me towards the end of the session. To be fair, warm-up this morning was only 3 or 4 laps, purely to get a bit more of a feel for the track. We're trying as hard as we can to gain or to save as much battery voltage. So the race is going to be quite long later. Looking forward to it, but we need to save the batteries as much as we can. Keep with them. They're in front of me. Keep with them. Otherwise, no. If I'm there on the last lap, then absolutely. It's not easy to get through on the last corner here, as it is. It's Neston into Russell's chicane, but we'll certainly give it a stab. We've set up the suspension a little bit more to my favour now. We've raised the back end up a little bit just to try and give it a little more front inclination, steer into corners a bit quicker. Otherwise, largely it's the same. I'm just trying to get used to the bike, really, the engine, the motor, and the power delivery, as opposed to getting the bike turning quicker.
We haven't made any changes today. We was going to change the gearing, but we found at Snetterton it was drawing more current from the battery. So to finish the race, fingers crossed, keep them in the lower gearing to try and just get some more time under about, really. We've just took the motor out, as you can see. Just checked the brushes, and we've had one of the brushes delaminating, so we're changing that at the moment. But fingers crossed, it should all be done for a race. No, we didn't see any problems. The bike's running fine. No overheating, no excess drawing current or anything, so it was just a check, really, just to make sure we're going to finish the race, and glad we checked, really. So I can't get tucked in as much as I'd like, but it's a small bike anyway, despite the tank, so it's not really any higher than it was before, but obviously we've done it properly rather than a bit of foam, so still going. We seem to be getting better every time we go out. But, you know, I wouldn't say faster, but more reliability. We're just going to knock the power down a tad. But we knocked it down a tad this morning, and we still, I think we went 2 seconds faster today than yesterday. So obviously learning the track's helping with that. So yeah, we're just going to have fun, take our time. Yeah, we just need some more sponsorship.
Welcome to UK round 2 of the TTXGP E-Grand Prix as the bikes grid up on this grey northern Wales day. Whatever the weather may be throwing at, the bikes certainly look really well put together and very credible as we start the next generation of motorsports here at Anglesey on this brand new track. Really beautiful track, I have to say, but we'll talk more about that in a minute as the track goes hot. And they're away as we start the second round of the TTXGP. And straight off the grid, the Anglesey and Pete Ward on the two Mavizen's bike have really come in from behind, but the Agni bikes are strong into contention as we get into the second turn now on the banking. Rob Moon takes first position, followed by Pete Ward of the Electric Hussars, and now we're on board with Jenny Tinworth on the second of the Agni bikes, followed very closely in fourth position by Jim Lovell, of course, from Team Talk, who won the first round of the UK Championship. And there we have Man TTX and James McBride taking Annie Seal on the Morris motorcycles. But the real duels are going on up at the front here as we go rapidly into the Ricochet as we almost halfway through the first lap here. Again, on board with Jenny. Pete Ward now very tight up close with Rob. Pete Ward, of course, in Snetterton came fourth, but now here he is. It looks like he's contending here for a pole position. And through the corkscrew into start and finish. What do you think, Anthony, as we finish our first lap?
I think this race is going to be a lot about handling. I mean, the circuit is very, very twisty, and you've got some really nice sections like the banking where the bikes can really, really lean a long way over. Also, the brakes is going to be a big issue here.
So as you can see, the two bikes very closely matched. Rob Moon in the white helmet, Jenny in the blue. But virtually on top of each other. Yeah, a big cheeky look back from Rob there. Of course, the bikes are so quiet, you can probably hear her as well. Actually, I would have thought this is a brand new experience. But looks like a very tight, they're virtually side by side now as we move down into the school. Look at that, virtually, it's like watching the movie Chips. All right, we're going uphill now. Third position is the Electric Hussars, Pete Ward. Here we have Annie Seal, but oh, someone's off. Who's that? It's Harry Hill of Lifebat. And as you can see there, he quickly ran down and hit the stop button. Of course, that's part of the safety protocols that all the racers are taught. As the bikes are silent, you can't really tell when the bike's on or off. So when the marshals approach the bike, the first thing they have to do is hit the big stop buttons, which all the bikes now have at the back. But here we are now with the leaders. Jenny now overtaken, Rob Moon in second, and with Pete Ward in third. But there seems to be a bit of a tussle developing for third and fourth between Pete Ward and Jim Lovell. Very exciting racing here, I have to say. A real upgrade from what we saw at Snetterton, where Jim Lovell really seemed to have owned that track. But now the racing is very, very much tighter, perhaps reflecting the technical nature of the course. So here we now are on board with Pete. Oh, and Jim Lovell very sneaking in there as we go through the banking and coming down into the church corner, looking out to the sea. Very, very close. Again, the Team Talk boys showing that small doesn't necessarily mean slow.
Yeah, these bikes actually both have the same motors, the twin Agni motors on either side of the bike, whereas Jim Lovell's bike is very small, very light, and with only one disc brake. Pete Ward's bike is a bit more powerful, more battery power, and obviously it's got two disc brakes at the front, so it might be better under braking on this course.
So as we cross the start-finish line there into the first banking corner, we can see Team MRB overtaking Anglesey of Morris Motorcycles. Morris, of course, from Sweden, and Anglesey, a very accomplished rider in endurance. She's a veteran of the Paris-Dakar, but here she's just starting out in road racing. But now we're back in... Oh, what's come away? Something just came away from Team Talk. I think it was a bit of the fairing. And it really seems to be affecting the aerodynamics. You can just see Pete Ward now edging in and pushing forward.
Yeah, looks like maybe the fairing wasn't held down properly, or something's come loose on the bike. And yeah, it has affected the aerodynamics, looks like.
Jim there sliding away around the corner but still keeping it together. Oh, and gives you an idea of how low these bikes are going. Jenny there sparking as she takes a turn and really banking very hard. Of course, the motors are stuck on the outside for these bikes to really get it, because they're air cooled, to really get into the airflow to keep them cool and keep the speed up. One of the things, and here Jenny now is lapping Annie Seal on the Mavizan Morris motorcycle bike. Jenny really showing everybody how it's done. Really phenomenal, very tidy piece of riding. Now here we are with Adam Parfelman on the Kingston bike, going around into the start and finish line. The field is actually starting to spread out now. We can see the lapping starting to happen, but here we are now back with 4th position. Pete Ward on the Electric Hussard, Staff Sergeant Peter Ward, based down in Bovington, here racing with the British Army, followed very closely by Team Talk from India, and then in 5th, well actually now been lapped, Annie Seal 1 lap behind there on the Morris motorcycles. A very interesting colour choice there, I would say, from the Swedes. But now here we are back with Agni in pole position, it looks like, and Jenny really stretching her legs now and really getting out in front, going down through the chicane as she comes back into the start and finish line, and leading the race very convincingly. So she's opening up a big gap. We have Rob Moon in 2nd now. And in 3rd, it'll be a fight between, there we are, it's Pete Ward, and this is coming down the very steep chicane, followed by Jim Lovell on Team Talk. Very exciting racing so far more competitive and far closer than it was in the round 1 in Snetterton.
Jenny's about 2 seconds a lap quicker than Rob Moon at the minute. She's actually pulled the fastest lap on lap 8 of 1 minute 20, whilst Rob Moon is managing 1:22. Behind him, Pete is another second slower at 1:23. So Jenny seems to have really pulled open the lead on Rob. I wonder if that's maybe down to gearing or maybe another issue. I don't know, because the bikes are supposed to be identical.
Well, Jenny, of course, is on track to win the Green Insurance Prize for the fastest lap for this round. Every round, the Green Insurance Company is sponsoring the fastest lap award. Of course, at Snetterton, that was taken by Jim Lovell, and here it looks like Jenny's on track to get that. But given the time differential and the fact that the bikes are identical, it may well be a technical issue in terms of Rob Moon, but we'll find out more after the race. So of course all of these riders are very professional and represent the very best of their sport right now, but are really looking to the future as they ride these electric bikes here in the 2nd round of the TTXGP. So here we are now with Rob Moon going around the banking corner, and it's worth taking a minute out and looking at the circuit. It really is a very beautiful circuit, I have to say. Not only is it all brand new to the latest standards, both for the FIM and the FIA, but it's also powered by windmills, and I believe they're putting in more windmills. So this represents really zero carbon racing in the truest sense of the word, in that the power is generated from the windmill. So here we have MRB Racing, the team with ridden by Russell License, and the team from Network Rail, who've kind of the garage boys who've put together the team from the ground up, and are being supported by LifeBat, who've contributed the power batteries to allow them to run. Annie Seal here on the Morris motorcycles, all the way from Sweden. really still finding her feet, I think, but certainly improving on her previous performance, and as she gets used to the bike, I think we'll see more and more from her, given her accomplishments in endurance. At Team MRB, they're of course probably one of the more budget teams of the entire series, but certainly not showing any of that on the track, putting in a very, very credible performance. Now we're back on board with Jenny Tinworth as we start the penultimate lap here on the second round of the TTXGP. So she's now lapping there, Team MRB, and coming up to the banking turn. As you can see, the track itself is cantered here, so it means they can lean very, very deeply and take the turns quite at a bit of a pace. But Jenny's certainly moving very fast. Here we are. She's a bit of traffic there, overtaking Annie Seal as she goes through the church, and sorry, start again. She's at the corkscrew and coming back up to start-finish line for the penultimate lap. Here we are now back with Annie Seal and Morris Motorcycles. Interesting story about Morris Motorcycles, of course, is that they are the first team to start a micro shareholder way of funding their team. So you can log onto their website and buy a share in their team and be part of history. So it's a very novel idea. So of course, clearly what we're seeing is a lot of innovation both on the track and off the track in terms of getting this motorsport series off the ground and away. At a World Championship. Here we are, Jenny now, and she crosses the finish line there in pole position. We'll see very closely who's in second, if Rob Moon has been able to catch up. As she does a victory lap around the circuit, of course. Let's see where we are with who's in second. It looks like Rob Moon was able to hold back the Electric Hussars' Pete Ward, so he takes second. And there we have Pete Ward on the Electric Hussar coming round into third, and Team Talk, Jim Lovell, the round one winner, taking what I'm sure will be a very disappointing fourth for him. So we'll find out where the rest of the teams are, but clearly look, a very ecstatic Pete Ward there. Team Talk in fourth position. Clearly something for them to look back on, but perhaps as a reflection of not only the riders understanding the bikes better, but the other bikes comparatively getting better. But look, a lot of camaraderie between the teams. There are real sportsmanship there. But clearly the day belongs to Jenny Tinworth, the Green Insurance Fastest Lap winner, as well as the winner of round two.